Danke, dass du so falsch aufgestanden bist. Satz. Ja, ich bin nur früh aufgestanden. Ja gut, also ihr werdet es wahrscheinlich alle mitgekriegt haben, wenn es auf der Facebook-Seite bekannt gegeben. Ist ein React-Turnier, der recht herzlich in React Glow begrüßen, in Urlaub vor darf sein lassen. Und er wird kurz ein wenig was über Seite bekannt erzählen.
See, I wasn't sure if you were just telling them who I was or if you were asking me to come up, so it's a little bit of an awkward moment. Hey guys, I'm Ollie. I'm called Ride Bro. I come from Iceland, which is a small country, and it doesn't have a lot of opportunities. So there are two things that I wanted to talk to you guys about today, and that's why we're focusing on universities and kind of why we're doing stuff like this, and how I got into the gaming industry. Since a lot of you might be wondering, you know, how do I get a job at Riot Games, at Blizzard, at EA, or whatever, so I thought I'd share my story. Maybe that'll help some of you guys out. So let's start off with why we're focusing on universities. So for us, Riot Games, we always want to focus on delivering the best player experience possible. We want you guys to have as much fun playing League of Legends, whether you're losing with 20 deaths or winning with 20 kills. And that tends to be more fun with friends, regardless. So you can be feeding massively, but you're doing it with friends and you're still laughing and having fun. Whereas if you're doing it in solo queue, you're probably getting flamed, right? Same thing when you're really successful. Being able to share that moment with friends is invaluable. So we think that League of Legends is better with friends. And there's really no better place to meet a lot of new people than university. A lot of people are moving away from home, they're starting a new chapter in their life, and they need a common ground to bond with people around. And we think that common ground can be League of Legends. So this is why we really want to put some emphasis into building up events like this where people get together outside the game and really form long-lasting, meaningful relationships around the game that eventually make their game experience better. Whether that experience be playing together, watching the LCS together, or even attending events like this. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So, about me, this is my favorite part because I love talking about myself. So, yeah, I was born and raised in Iceland. A lot of you might be wondering, then why the hell do you have an American accent? So I get that question a lot, but I did spend a lot of time in America, and that kind of made me feel like I was trapped in a small town whenever I was in Iceland, because I spent a lot of time in Texas. Texas is huge, and Iceland is very small. So I always dreamt big, and I always wanted to do something crazy, and I really wanted to work in games. But I went and I studied psychology. Whoops. But I was lucky enough that one day there was a developer in Iceland that was advertising in my university. They were asking for people for customer support. And they asked, you know, do you speak English? And do you like games? I was like, yes, and yes. This sounds like the perfect job for me. So I went for it, and I just applied. The game that they were developing, I had never played it. Yet I was applying to help people playing it, right? But I dedicated myself to learning the game and kind of trying all that stuff out. So I went to an English exam, got through that, then I went to a job interview, and the guys were asking me about all sorts of things, and they started asking me about games. What games do you play? What do you like about games? And so on. And the topic steered towards League of Legends, which is a competitor to those guys. And I was like, yes, I love League of Legends. I run the Icelandic League of Legends community that has 5,000 people in it. I organize tournaments, I organize events, I do all these kind of things. And that was the tipping point for them. The fact that I was proactive, the fact that I was willing to spend my free time and be driven by my passion led to them hiring me for customer support for a whole different game. They even showed me that much understanding that they allowed me to continue my work in my spare time organizing League of Legends tournaments. Eventually, after spending about 3 years at that company and moving from customer support over to community, I got approached by Riot, and Riot asked me, you know what, we have this university program coming up, and we hear that you have a lot of potential and we're wondering, do you want to apply for this job? Now, that sounds very much like I just got a job offer, but I didn't. I still had 10 interviews to go. So it was 3 Skype interviews, and I was flown out to Dublin, and then I sat for a panel for an entire day, 5 interviews in a row, and it was super stressful. But what all those interviews had in common was they weren't so much asking me about my experience in the gaming industry. They weren't asking me, what did you do at your last company? How did you work there? They were asking me more about why are you passionate about League of Legends? Why did you organize those League of Legends tournaments? How did you organize that? And effectively, they cared more about my drive relating to League of Legends and me being proactive in organizing stuff similar to this event than they did my job experience. Because we all know this cycle that people foresee. It's like, I apply for a job, but I need job experience, but I can't get a job, so I can't get job experience. So it's a vicious cycle, and a lot of people think that kind of locks them out. But my best advice from my experience would be, just do something, right? Just go organize a tournament, start a Facebook group, organize a viewing party, reach out to whatever game company you want to work for and be like, hey guys, I'm doing something awesome for your game in the community, and if you guys are doing it well, I can guarantee you that someone will notice it. I am super impressed with what's been pulled off here today. When this event came to us in this competition, there were 126 entries from all sorts of countries. We had an entry from Saudi Arabia, which was crazy. But what really stuck out about this event was, these guys didn't set themselves limits. They didn't say you know what, it would probably be feasible to go for 3 activities. No, they just outlined 40 activities. They're just we want to do everything. And that ambition was something that I wanted to see. The second thing was the relationship between the university and its students. So can I see who in here is a student at Hagenberg? Okay, a lot of you. All right. So you guys are really lucky, because this is the first time that I go to a university and the faculty is this involved in the operation of the students. When we did our first Skype call, you remember this, right? We did our first Skype call, and they were going around introducing themselves. And it started off, and it was 3 students that introduced themselves, and then all of a sudden 3 teachers introduced themselves. I was like, yes, I'm a lecturer at this university. And I was like, whoa, why are these guys there? I'm not used to that. I'm not used to these guys taking that much of a vested interest. And I think that kind of relationship has made a lot of this possible. We're about to see here today. So I just wanted to say that it's a huge honor for Riot to be able to be a part of this. We're super proud to see what these guys pulled off. Maybe give the organizers here a round of applause. There's 3 people here from Riot. It's myself, Natalia, Riot Kingen. She speaks German, so if you're shy in speaking English or anything, you shouldn't be, number 1. But if you want to speak in German with a writer, then seek her out. And then Bradford, certainly T. He's from Los Angeles, and he's our champion designer. He'll be doing a talk later here today. We're pretty open people, and we love talking with members of the League of Legends community. So if you see us roaming around, you have any questions, whether it be about League of Legends, the gaming industry, I don't know, I like MMA, if you want to talk about that. Whatever, I'm also open to hear you talk about your hobbies, whatever they may be. So just approach us, have a chat. You're in a Timo costume, so I'm going to throw this mushroom to you. So there you go. There's plenty more of these, actually. So I'll do that. I'll tell them what they can get for free. Because that's what you guys like, right? Free stuff. So we're going to be putting up a computer right outside this room, kind of in the hallway, where you can sign down your summoner name, and everyone that signs their summoner name there is going to get Riot KO added to their account once we get back to Dublin. Then upstairs, there are going to be some League of Legends related activities where you can play some games. There's going to be a King of the Jungle challenge, where you're supposed to clear an entire side of the jungle alone with any runes, masteries, summoner spells, or champions. The prize for that is the first place is going to get 3,000 RP, the second place is going to get 2,000, and the third place is going to get 1,000. Again, they'll be put on your accounts when we get back to Dublin. Then we're also going to do something that's called Mayhem on Howling Abyss, which is an ARAM, but the game ends at 10 minutes, and whoever has the most kills at 10 minutes wins. So go crazy. Everyone that participates in that and plays a match of that will have a chance to sign up and get Arch-like Vel'Koz. If you don't have Vel'Koz, then you get the champion as well. Same thing with Kale. And then if you win that, you'll either get one of those Teemo stress balls, Teemo mushroom stress balls, or you will get kind of a League of Legends lanyard that we have with us. So that's about it for me. So I'm going to introduce Denny. He's going to talk to you a little bit about the upcoming university stuff here in Austria.